All right. Hello there. Welcome to Underground Sound. I'm Noah.
I'm Emerson.
And today we have a very, very special show going on. As you probably do remember, I've been absent for the last couple shows because I actually have something to do with my life, unlike Emerson, who's been playing lots of video games.
Shows.
Anyway, it's a two-person thing. So with that said, what we're going to be doing is doing everybody's favorite thing, which is banter. We are going to be debating, I'd like to say as a better word, two different sides here on some of the artists we respect and some of the artists that we don't. And we may make this into a series depending on how this one goes. But Emerson, if you'd like to give a little bit more detail into exactly what we're going to be debating, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I still have to set it up because we just got in the studio here. The last group went a little long.
I'm the one who sets everything up. Oh, my God. Wow.
I had like 20 seconds when I walked in here. So to start us off, we have The Streets by 50 Cent. That'll buy me some time to set up a segment here called Hate It or Love It.
Yes.
So that will be our segment, which essentially we are, each week that we do this, we don't know if we're going to do this every week, but we're going to essentially pick an artist or maybe just an album that one of us loves and the other hates. And we're going to kind of debate back and forth. We each pick a song from either that album or artist that we really like / really hate, depending. And we kind of talk about what we like or don't like about it, and we kind of go back and forth and just kind of see if we can come to some kind of consensus or if it just ends. Either way. But yeah, so we will get into that very shortly. But to hold you over, we have The Streets by 50 Cent. Dang it. I made an intro and it didn't play. Apparently there's an error.
Well, the intro is called Hate It or Love It, which is supposed to be just a really, really cool little reference to our little segment there, but apparently not, but we'll see if we can get that working later.
It was just the chorus line to the song Hate It or Love It by 50 Cent in the game.
Yeah.
It's a great song. But, okay. So, Noah, this is your segment. I will let you, I guess, take the lead on this. Who's the artist, and what's the first song, and what are your thoughts?
All right. So, Rick Ross, Emerson, if I remember correctly, the reason you're playing Hold Me Back is why?
Because I hate it.
Well, here's the thing. I think Hold Me Back is also a horrendous song and possibly the worst.
I found it then.
The worst in his discography. However, this song will actually help strengthen one of my points once it's done playing. So, please.
Fair enough. All right. So once again, Rick Ross and Hold Me Back. All right, once again, that was Hold Me Back by Rick Ross. Now, I'll speak first on why I personally dislike it. One, the chorus, repetitive as much as you could possibly make it. I mean, he says the same line over and over again. There's really no beat switch up there, so it really just sounds annoying. He also sounds like he's out of breath the longer the chorus line goes on. Like he's just like he doesn't have anything else to say. He's just running with it, and it is really a mess. Let's see, the verses really are nothing. The beat's actually not bad. It is a good beat. I mean, Rick Ross just gives it no favors there. So, yeah, terrible chorus, terrible verses, no emotion or emphasis on anything of importance. It's just a big mess.
All right, Emerson, thank you for your thoughts on that. Let's also first get this out of the way. I do absolutely believe this is a filler song. This is not one of Rick Ross's best for a reason. However, this is on his best album, which is God Forgives, I Don't.
I like that title, though. I'll give him credit for that. That's a good title.
Exactly. And just like any artist, there are songs on amazing albums or very good albums that are going to be filler, and some songs are just not going to make the cut. And let's admit, some of our favorite artists have really, really dumb songs with really, really dumb lyrics. However, Rick Ross is somebody that you don't necessarily take seriously. I mean, he's got the classic rapper story. You know, he's from Miami, Florida, and he kind of came up after this whole correctional officer story. And basically, his own music is that he's been building an empire. So what the meaning of the song is nobody themselves are going to hold him back. None of his competition. Nobody's going to get in his way. He just doesn't care about whether they're friends or foes. He's building his own legacy, which he had done since he released his first album back in 2006. he has really built up a name for himself, and he's somebody who's worth about $50 million now. So that's a pretty meteoric rise through the past 10 to 12 years. I don't think the song is necessarily something that should be listened to by somebody who's trying to get into Rick Ross, but once you understand the context of it, on the album it's from, and where it is coming from, the song itself gets a little bit more meaning. It's not really something you want to necessarily listen to, but it's something that you have to understand at least.
Okay, well, that was the song I personally really hated. Noah somewhat agreed. What's the song that you love, Noah?
The song I love is So Sophisticated, also off of God Forgives, I Don't. And this one is kind of an attack on the senses. This is definitely one of his best songs, and I personally have listened to it probably well over 100 times. It's something that I kind of keep coming back to because I think Rick Ross, he really kind of shows how versatile he is with this. He's gone from kind of R&B type stuff to more just straight up rap. And this is something that's more of like, this showcases what he's done. This is kind of almost a greatest hits kind of thing. It's a victory lap. This is what Rick Ross is pretty much known for primarily on like his greatest hits. So go ahead and give this a listen. We're going to debate it right after this. All right, so that was So Sophisticated. That was a song that was released in 2012. I personally own the album so that I can listen to in my car. Yes, I still listen to disc-based formats because I think
Props
that they're
to
fantastic. Emerson uses an iPod, so he appreciates the kind of
that wasn't
throwback
sarcastic
style. No, seriously. But that aside, I think So Sophisticated is a fantastic song, first of all, because it shows Rick Ross's strengths. He's saying he has that kind of confidence and swagger about him. It's this sort of like, I'm here, and like in order for you to be on my level, you have to be invited. He says, in order to get a verse from me, you got to be initiated. You got to be part of his just whole group. You got to be part of like his lifestyle. You have to be involved with him because he's on another level. And he just kept building and building himself with each album, like up to that point. And that was widely considered one of his better albums. Something about So Sophisticated is that it's not even bolstered just by the strength of his like constant delivery of just like, verse after verse after verse. It's the fact that even Meek Mill, one of favorite artists.
This song was a low blow, by the way. This was a low blow.
He was selected by Rick Ross to be on the song, and Meek Mill does an excellent job on this song. He's not half-hearted about it. He gives an excellent delivery that doesn't even take away from the song. In fact, I'd say if anything, it just bolsters it. They kind of really go off of each other's style here. I think this is a fantastic song because it doesn't only just play off of Rick Ross's best strengths, showing that he's not just R&B, but he also can just straight up rap. It also put somebody else on display, and Rick Ross is definitely somebody who likes collaborating with people and like making good features on their songs and having people have great features on his songs, and I feel like this is really strengthened by this. So in general, for me, this is fantastic for that reason, and it sounds good to me. It's just bar after bar after bar. It's just so good.
Yeah, like I said, this was a low blow because this is definitely one of his best songs and really one of the few Rick Ross songs that I really, really like. And yes, Meek Mill does an excellent job on it. I'm a huge Meek Mill fan, so once again, that was tough to cope with when he picked the song. But I don't really have any issues with the song. But I guess, should we just move on to then Rick Ross just in general?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. If you'd like to speak on that first, go ahead. I can
will
also speak on it. Oh,
I'm ready.
Please go ahead. I'm ready for you.
Yeah, so I mean, I really don't like him, but I found some other people. From Pitchfork, very notable music critics here.
Are you talking about Pitchfork, who doesn't like any album, like, at all?
Hey, they put out the hot new albums, like, for each month. There's clearly something they like.
Well, it's interesting to me because, I don't know, they've given a lot of classic albums below a 1 score. They even gave Childish Gambino's first album a 0.6, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought it was 0.4. Was it 0.6?
It was probably 0.6, but the point aside, not to argue with you right now, Emerson, or get in your way.
I thought that's the whole point of this.
I can't trust Pitchfork
because
they're the worst when it comes to reviews. And once you read their reviews in depth without just looking at their score, I read Pitchfork often.
He was
because
ready for this argument, I guess.
Yeah.
He did his homework.
I read Pitchfork often.
He's got a speech.
Exactly. I read Pitchfork often because I do like fair and balanced critical reviews, which they are not. However, I like it when they're tougher on certain albums, but Pitchfork is just, I think that they're known because of how tough that they are.
Which is why I like them.
Sometimes
I like their brutality.
Is unnecessary. I'd imagine some of your favorite artists, I mean, they love Kanye West. Most of the
They
stuff.
love Kanye, yeah.
He's never gotten anything less than a 7.1 on Pitchfork. Let me go ahead and say that. But most other very good artists, unless they're kind of like Vince Staples or
They do love Vince. I was actually just looking
exactly
at it. They love Vince.
like up and coming and everything like that. A lot of these established artists have gotten pretty negligible reviews, in my opinion, for the quality of their work. So yeah, Emerson, keep going.
Well, I don't have a problem with Pitchfork. They are brutal, but I think they really value creativity and experimental music a whole lot more than anything generic or run of the mill. I think that's where they get a lot of the brutal low scores, just because they really shoot down anyone who isn't doing something groundbreaking or at least very different. So I think that's where a lot of it comes from. But back to my point, off of the Rick Ross album Trilla by Evan McGarvey, I believe that's how you say his name, he reviewed the album Pitchfork. He gave it a whopping 2.4, which the review starts off with second album from the Miami rapper whose name rhymes with boss is unsurprisingly terrible. I love that first sentence. Unsurprisingly terrible. This man wasn't even shocked by how terrible this is. My thoughts and feelings exactly. On top of that, as Noah pointed out with a little bit of his background, he always prides himself as this big drug dealer. He's actually been featured on quite a few Pusha T songs about dealing drugs, and he always tries to create that persona that he's this boss, he's this kingpin, which, as Noah very lightly touched on, he was actually a correctional officer. He actually had never dealt drugs in his entire life. So not only is he unsurprisingly terrible, he is a liar. A liar, Noah. He lies. He is terrible. And that is not, by the rap definition, keeping it real, which is really the essence of what rap is. And he just breaks that, tears it apart, and doesn't even make good music to back it up.
Well, Emerson,
that's all I have.
First, I want to say I do respect your argument, and from a meek, small-minded person like you, I can certainly understand why you'd say such a thing. However, it's just like Eminem. He keeps rapping about his how bad his life is and how bad his days have been. This man has been one of the richest people in hip hop for the
he's
last.
Talking about something that
hold on for the last.
Not creating a fantasy,
for the last
here.
15 years. However, he progressed. He's in a different place now. Now, Rick Ross was at one point a correctional officer. However, when you get into the rap game, sometimes when you get into the music industry, drugs are a big part of it. Things go around. Like, there's stuff that we don't know about, Emerson, that kind of goes into this industry. I mean, think about it. Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre, they popularized that whole weed, peddling drugs, kind of gangster rap. Did they do all of this insane, crazy stuff that they maybe said in their lyrics? No, probably not. Did they smoke a lot of weed? Oh, yeah, probably did. And did they drink a lot of Hennessy? I think they did as well. However,
you seriously calling out Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre?
Hold on. I'm connecting this to my point. You don't think Rick Ross, after leaving the correctional officer role and becoming part of the rap game, meeting up with multiple other artists who have done this in a certain part, he's not talking about where he came from. He's talking about what he's doing now and how he's building his empire and what he's doing. However, what you were saying with Pitchfork, which is very, very interesting. I think Rick Ross was actually featured on Meek Mill's new album, which is interesting that you would not like Rick Ross, considering that Meek Mill is one of your idols.
I wouldn't say idol. He's awesome.
He's one of your favorites.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites.
You really, really like him.
I do like him.
Now, if Meek Mill has the tenacity to like Rick Ross, then why shouldn't you? And my opinion is that Rick Ross himself, I think he has an annoying personality. Of course, he's fat. He sounds like he's huffing all the time, like he's out of breath. But you know what?
That's literally his catchphrase.
This is the cult of personality that he's built. And whether somebody likes that or not is up to them. Sometimes that can be annoying. I mean, for example, I think Kanye West right now is the most annoying rapper on this planet. But do I still respect him? Yes, I do. However, I think he's completely lost right now, but I'll admit his music's good. Now, Emerson may not think Rick Ross's music is good. He may not even like his personality. However, I expect these things. I expect bigger things out of rap artists, and I've seen Rick Ross go from Stay Schemin' to Ashton Martin music. Do you like Ashton Martin music, Emerson?
That's like the only other song.
Which features Drake, which Emerson hates. So
that
hold
song
on.
came out when I liked Drake, just saying.
But that aside,
I used to be a Drake fan.
that aside,
The good old days.
You can admit that Rick Ross's hits themselves have been pretty good. And if you've
Two of them.
And if you've listened to Sorry off of Black Market, that is also a song featuring Chris Brown that's actually very good with insightful lyrics talking about past relationships and like how things have failed and like what he's doing now to at least make amends with that. These are difficult topics in the rap genre besides just bragging and like, you know, talking about drugs. Rick Ross has covered like a lot of this stuff. Of course, he's talked about this gangster lifestyle and this kingpin lifestyle, but he's also covered a lot of like the more relationship aspects of what it's like to be a rapper and be in the industry. Ashton Martin music was a really interesting cross between the two. So sophisticated, kind of a victory lap right there. But we also have songs like Sorry, which kind of transgress that entire thing. But Emerson, like you said before, you're not a fan of Rick Ross. I probably can't change that. What I'm trying to do is help educate you a little bit more on what I've researched of Rick Ross, because I'd imagine you probably don't read way much into him because you don't like him that much, right?
I only read into artists I'm interested in music-wise.
Exactly. And saying with that argument, like, you could be forgiven for really not liking him on a surface level. I think it's important to read into each artist and understand why you may or may not like them, because I've disliked some artists a lot. But once I kind of read into their story, read more into their music and what it means, I can appreciate them a little bit more. I think Rick Ross definitely has this persona that he's built, you know, this Maybach music empire, kind of stuff like that with the annoying, you know, Maybach music, you know, that kind of little trademark, watermark right there. But he's more than... Honestly, he's better than the sum of his parts, in my opinion. And I feel like he has very good rapping ability. He has a very distinct style. A lot of people respect him on his features. And honestly, he's done very, very well for himself, not necessarily being this mumble rap king that a lot of people are trying to become more often. I think he reflects more of the old type of rap that was popular and actually quite good. And while he is fading into a little bit more of obscurity now, I think what he's done so far is pretty notable, and it's pretty good. You have to admit it. You have to admit, Emerson, like, some of his songs are quite good.
So Sophisticated and Aston Martin music are very good. That is it. Everything else is trash. That I've heard. Which is,
Emerson's
maybe
heard.
2 albums worth?
That's what I'm saying. That's what Emerson's heard. He has multiple albums, I believe over 5 now. So my main argument right here is that you can dislike him, but I can't definitively take your opinion as valid unless you read more into him and you listen to most of his music. So
fair enough. I would need to listen to more. But my belief is I don't listen to bad artists. So it's like, why would I keep digging into trash?
But
like, it's just no point.
That's what I'm saying. You say he's a bad artist, but you haven't continued listening to his music. It just depends, man. Some of the guys you really, really like have 1 or 2 bad like albums or just kind of half-hearted albums.
No, I only go with 100% artists. Not
Exactly.
a single bad mark.
Emerson's a purist. Maybe you should work for Pitchfork, right? All right.
I like their
Let's go ahead and get on to some of our advertisements.
Yeah.
And we will be back quite soon.
Elon Burlington.
I'm Emerson,
I'm Noah.
and we are
Underground Sound.
I'll be playing hip-hop music from underground rappers, new school and old school.
And I'll be playing lesser-known hip-hop songs from bigger artists as well as some forgotten classics,
We also do rap album reviews from time to time.
as well as general discussions on everything hip-hop and rap,
So tune in every Sunday from 7 to 8 p.m.
right here on WSOE.
89.3.
Ain't letting the sucker disturb my sleep. Say it to my face if them words is deep, or if I can't even take.
All right. And up next, we have an artist that both Emerson and I can agree on.
both love.
Yes. That is Kanye West. This is famous. You may remember it from the controversial Taylor Swift call out. So listen to that here. A little bit out of left field right there, but hey, that's Kanye West. Great song. Go ahead and give it a listen.
All right, that was Kanye. One of my favorites. The favorite. The best. But next up, we have one of my... It's a mid-tier song from an artist named Kaz. Noah, do you know who Kaz is? Or any background?
No, I don't. We're only here to play mid-tier songs, so, you know.
Gotcha. I wasn't sure. Anyways, his song Cody Mack is pretty good. It's not my favorite. I'm saving that for another day. But it's definitely really interesting. Kaz is he's signed to the same label as J. Cole. He has quite a few tracks with him. He has like 2 or 3 really good songs in every single one of his albums. His problem is that his albums suck. So as soon as he makes a good album, I'm sure he's going to really pop off. But he's kind of just stuck in this like mid-tier right now where he's popular, he makes good music, just not enough of it.
It's interesting that Emerson likes some of his songs, but doesn't like enough of his music, but still finds it.
If he does this for the rest of
worthy
his
being,
career,
put on his.
I will add him
on the
to the
radio
Hate It or
show.
Love It segment.
Please
He's
do.
only got 2 albums in, so
Please
it's
do,
like
Emerson. I cannot wait
gotta-
to debate you when we're wearing suits and working in cubicles one day.
okay. Cody Mack and his song, or Cody Mack and by the artist Kaz. All right. Next up, we have a song called Rollin' Stone by a little group called Dime Death. They had a remix to the infamous, or not infamous, the super famous song Let It Be, which kind of pushed them into the airwaves a little bit. And they put out a lot of really quality music despite really not gaining any traction. And I don't believe they're making music anymore. So kind of sad. But nonetheless, they got great music. So this is off of their only notable album. They have a couple of really small mixtapes, but this was like their big release. Once again, Dime Deaf and their song Rollin' Stone. All right, Noah, what do we have up next and what are we going to talk about?
So up next, we have a song called Fun, capital F, capital U, capital N, exclamation point.
Exclamation point.
Much like the popular band back in the early 2010s. But right now, we have this Fun is actually by Vince Staples, who released, what is it, his third studio release?
Third studio release.
Just this past couple weeks, and he's been up and coming. He did Big Fish Theory last time, which was an excellent album. By the way, Pitchfork loves this guy.
Pitchfork loves this guy.
Yeah.
I'm sure that guy, Greg McGarvey, whatever, loves
Anyway.
it too.
But anyway, this is an excellent album. I wish that we could play it through, but unfortunately, we're just going to have to keep going with just Fun right now. Vince Staples is extremely versatile. He's a 24, 25 something rapper who's just really found his own niche, and he's somebody who is just very skilled on a technical level, and just like with the way he composes his lyrics, everything feels so authentic. And it's something I've really enjoyed about this guy. He's just kind of a diamond in the rough. A lot of people know Vince Staples, but not enough people do.
Yeah, I've said this a few times. Vince Staples is one of the very few artists I actually like more as a person than I do as an artist. That is super rare in the rap genre, but his music's awesome too. The only reason I love him more as a person is because his interviews are so thought-provoking and hilarious at the same time. I love his interviews. But yeah, great artist, great wordplay. He knows how to make songs. In fact, this whole FM album, the reason I like it so much is it's all just a big play on like back when the radio was more relevant.
I mean,
it's
hey,
awesome.
Who uses the radio anymore, right?
Exactly, but it's cool. He got some great features. It's a great album. Even the music video for this song, Fun, is actually amazing. It's one of the best music videos I've seen of the year.
One could say it's very fun.
Yeah, and meta.
With emphasis. Yeah.
All right, once again, Fun and Vince Staples. All right, next up, we have one of my favorite producers right now, Apollo Brown, out of Detroit. He is awesome. He's worked with quite a few notable names, Ghostface Killah, Joel Ortiz, who was part of Slaughterhouse just recently, actually. He released that album like a month ago. And this is off his own producer album. He has the Barrel Brothers rapping for him, and the song Never Ever. Really like it. Give it a listen.
Give it a listen.
Give it a listen.
Give it a listen. All right, and up next we have Stimulated, the clean version, by Tyga. So as I'm sure everybody's here who listens to any type of R&B, rap, hip-hop, familiar with Tyga. It's very interesting stuff around his personality, but you know what? I like his music. It's catchy. Let's go for it.
All right, and that will conclude our show with Underground Sound. We once again thank you for listening. And Noah, do we have plans for next week, or are we just going to go with something traditional?
Are we even allowed to do this next week?
Honestly, I might not. I don't know. I have the final that Monday.
Yeah,
right after.
A lot of finals. We will see what is going on. Emerson and I will collaborate, as we sometimes do. And we will definitely let our small listener base know what's going to be going on. But don't expect too much for next week, just in case the finals kind of get in the way. But we'll certainly be trying to do this for winter term. But if we can't, this may.
Yeah, I have a weird feeling that they don't have shows in winter term. I don't know why I think that, but I I really do. I don't think they put on shows for Winter Drum.
Well, with that said, it might be a while before we do our next show, but
We might just break in and do it anyways on Sundays. Like, we don't know. Just don't tell anyone, I guess.
WSOE did not hear that. Anyway,
No.
yeah.
Or the
we're-
FCC, in case they have any rights on that.
yeah. But what we're thinking is that we're going to be creating a website very soon where we will be trying to do podcasts and start recording our own things for some of the more niche topics that other people might be more inclined to listen to. Maybe get to a little bit of a wider base and just kind of have that extra sort of categorized show that people might want to listen to. We'll definitely be able to play a little bit more looser music, I'd say, in terms of what we do there, and then be able to talk about just a wider range of topics and get more in depth on some of the really cool things that we love about underground sound and hip-hop in general. There's going to be a lot of albums coming out around that time, and we'll be able to talk about a ton of new music, so we will definitely give you the URL/name of that website probably around January.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else to say. Noah, you got anything else to say? You talked there for a little bit.
No.
All right. Well, I'm Emerson.
I'm Noah.
We are Underground Sound, WSOE 89.3, Elon, North Carolina.
See you next time.